Let's get to it. Hanging with Beat Drop Podcast, episode 124. What a beautiful day it is. The birds are chirping outside. It's like pew, pew, pew. It's a beautiful day. Springtime. The weather is feeling magnificent. It is beautiful. What is good, y'all? How you guys doing? What is cracking? We are in episode 124. That's a good amount of episodes, if you ask me. We've hit record a couple times, and I'm glad that we rocking and we getting it right. You feel me? All right. So episode 123, that was probably my best episode ever because you know Jacob, also known as my son, um, got to hang out with us, man, and that was freaking awesome because so the way we set it up, just a little BTS behind the scenes. I never knew what that meant. Is that so pretty much just a little recap, my little recap, now that Jacob's not here with me. Um so WrestleMania was last week, and kind of how that came about was, you know, Jacob loves wrestling, bro. Like this dude, like he like loves it. Like he's every day he's just randomly like pinning his dogs. Like he's just like 1 2 3, or I'm like walking and he's trying to give me like a rock bottom. Like he really loves it. And he really loves The Rock. That's his favorite wrestler, and which we were hoping he was gonna come out that day to make a comeback, but he didn't. Anyways, so Jacob loves wrestling. Like I said, The Rock is his favorite wrestler. So I feel like that's when he got into wrestling. He's always on it. That's all he talks about. Homie watches Monday Night Raw, um, Friday Night SmackDown, the whole thing. So I saw a few months ago or a while back that WrestleMania was gonna be in LA. So I was like, dope, 2 night event. Shout out to my guy Fernie. We were always talking about it. He was like, yo, I'll buy my tickets. I'm so excited, which was dope. I saw a lot of homies over there, which was crazy. Like, I saw a lot of people over there. I was like, that's dope. Um, but like I said in the previous episode, like me personally, like I like wrestling when I was a kid. Like I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like a passion like how Jacob loves it. Like I followed it a little bit. I've always liked The Rock, and I was like, cool, I like it. But as of now, you know, as a pops, as his dad, like, I keep up with it because he just loves that support. Like he's like, Dad, look, and when he's having these conversations with me, I try to keep up with these wrestler names, because I feel like he enjoys it and he loves it. So, when you see me in those videos, singing along the songs with him, I do it to support him, and like he loves it, and I think one thing I always say too is that time is gonna pass. You never, or it might not be, but I don't want to take the chance where what about in a few years he's into something else, or I'm not able to have these moments where we could go to WrestleMania again, like life throws you so many curveballs, you know what I mean? And I think for sure, at least for me personally, the last few months, I've really have been in a position to just be in the present. I think there's been times in my life where I look too ahead, or I'm overthinking what's gonna happen or what about, and then there's just come a point where I just go, you know what, man, just be in the present, enjoy the moment, which kind of gets me to the point of where I heard in the podcast of like, this isn't a trial run, like this life that we have is not a trial run. And when I've heard that, it's impacted me so much because I always say it. I know people might be like, oh, here he goes again. But I always say life is a death sentence. We have a death sentence. You get what I'm saying? Obviously, we don't know when that's going to happen. I think, we have this thing where we think we're going to live to 80, 90, 100, which I hope. But you just never know. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the thing. Like, it puts perspective that I could walk out and I could be hit by a bus. Yeah, that sounds super dark, but it's also very true. And it puts it for me where I just want to be in the present. And I know we've spoken about that. I know episode 120 was about being the present, but I think going back to about Jacob, like when it was about WrestleMania, I was just like, man, let's just go. Like I want Jacob to remember that, because there's moments. I mean, at least for me personally, that I remember when I was a kid, that is just, it's always impacted me as I've been an adult. There's just been certain moments where you go, man, that was special, or man, I remember this, or there's just certain times. I mean, when you have conversations with people, it could be either a family vacation, or man, I remember when we all went to Disney World, or I remember when this, or it could also be a negative. I remember when this happened to the family and impacted me the way I am now. Has its pros and cons, it's at least in this situation, in a positive standpoint. I just really wanted Jacob to experience that because I think it was 2020. When was SummerSlam? I don't think it was last year. I think it was 2020. I remember I took him to Vegas. I was just like, let's go. And I'm gonna just say like this, it ain't easy going to Vegas with I think he was 6 or 7. It wasn't easy, man. Just me and him. It was like 100 and something degrees. We were walking in the strip, and he was like, "Dad, I'm tired." It was a challenge, but I take so much pride, and I'm sure you guys have probably noticed that now, about being a dad who you know doesn't complain about it and just loves it. Like, these are the moments where I felt like, yeah, like I love being a dad, because it could be so much, and there's that moment where he's just like, "Thank you, Dad." And not where you're looking for that, but you just, as a parent, you're just like, man, you're never gonna have these moments again. That's just how I've seen it. That's how I'm continue to see it. So I feel like I went in a little journey of a conversation with that. But shout out to everybody that went to WrestleMania. Shout out to all the homies that I saw. Um, I wish we could have had more conversations, but Jacob was focused on the match. But anyways, which got into spring break, and today, what I really want to talk about is prioritizing, and I'm gonna get into it. And I feel like I already kind of used a lot of minutes on WrestleMania, so I'm gonna try to make it quick. But going into spring break, it was Super Mario. Um, Dope movie. I recommend you guys go check it out. I feel like watching a movie, it brought so much childhood memories for me. I'm like, damn, I remember being a little kid playing in my Game Boy, playing Super Mario. Now there's a freaking movie about it. I'm like, Jacob, you lucky, dog. I'm like, you get all the good stuff. And then I went to go watch the movie Air. I went to go watch it, a nice little solo self-like date, you feel me? Just chilled, and I really wanted to watch the movie. I don't think Jacob would have been interested in watching it. So this movie, there was certain parts where I was like, man, like, being courageous and having actions behind your decisions, and I think that's something that stood out for me a lot in this movie. And I was thinking about the word prioritizing. I think at least even for myself, right? Like, this past few weeks have been all over the place with my time, with where I put my energy in. And I know we've spoken about that, of where you put your energy to, but and maybe I have talked about prioritizing, but I think right now, at least for myself, I know that word is going to be very pivotal for me. We all have 24 hours a day. We have to sleep, we have to work out, we have to, the whole nine. Everybody has different responsibilities. But I thought about prioritizing. I thought about how it's very important where we put our time and how we spend our time. And I know how every 30 minutes, hour takes a huge play in my life, So I just wanted to get in here and just tell you guys on, having some focus on where you put in your time, where you put in your energy. And if it's not good for you, just remove it, and going back to being in the present. I always think too, like, man, like, let's just have good energy every day and not worry about stuff that is petty. Not worry about stuff that we're not gonna think about in a few months. It's crazy. I'm always thinking of random stuff. I don't know, man. My brain is very mysterious. But I was thinking about that I turned 30 in 5 months, right? I was thinking about how before that would make me panic a lot. It would just make I would just overthink, and I would just think like, I gotta have this figured out, and this and this and this. At least the last few weeks for me, I've been able to look at my life and be like, first of all, I'm so grateful that I've been able to experience so much different things in my life at 29. And it goes back into what I'm prioritizing my time to, and I think that um as I'm closer to turning 30, I just go, okay, you know what am I doing with my time? Who am I spending it with? What am I consuming? And I hope that that puts a little perspective into what you're doing in your life. There's days where I take like a self check every night, and I go, okay, you've spent a little too much time on social media today, right? Or you know what, you could have done this better. And I think when we have a self checklist every night and every morning too, to be honest, I think something that is really good to do is plan your day the night before, because I think if not, you're just kind of wondering the next day. But even Jacob is 10, right? Like I think like he was telling me, Dad, when am I gonna be a teenager? And I was like, when the word says teen on it. And I was like, 13. I was like, bro, that's 3 years from now. You feel me? And I'm like, bro, time goes like this, bro. Like time be flying. And for me, I want to make sure that my faith is always on God, and I'm enjoying everything that God has put for me, and always asking God to show me the steps moving forward. I think the good thing is to know what your values are, what's important, and whether that's you look at your day and you go, okay, my work is important, my family is important, my faith is important, my finances, whatever the case might be. I think, at least for myself, I go, okay, every day I want to make sure that I'm giving a deposit to the people that I care about, to myself. I watched an interview with Ed Milet and John Kim. I believe his name is an Angry Therapist. And he says something where it's like, we all say self-love, self-love. He's like, I think it's self-like. And I was like, damn, that was hard. And I feel like I probably heard that before, but I think when I heard it this time, I was like, yo, that's dope, because he's like, you could love someone, but do you like the person? Like you could love a family member, but do you like that person? And I was like, damn, that was impactful, because I feel like we all say self-love, but it's like, do you like yourself? Obviously, you're gonna eat, you're gonna sustain yourself, but do you like who you are? Which I think is good. Maybe we could talk about that in another episode, but I think that's very powerful. I think, look at yourself today and be like, do I like myself? Do I like the person that I am? Do I like the person I'm becoming? And yeah, that's why it goes back to prioritizing, prioritizing time for yourself, prioritizing time for your family, time for your creative projects, time for, your health, your gym, and all this it's a lot, man. I don't think it's, one size fits all. It's complicated things to try to live a disciplined life. But I also think that living a disciplined, structured life like that, it allows so much more freedom for you to become a better person later on. I think about, even an example of the gym, because I feel like maybe a lot of people could relate to that. But it's like, in the beginning, that thing sucks, bro. Like ain't doing push-ups and reps and all this, like in the beginning it sucks. But with time, you see the results, and it's so good for you. You feel better about yourself. And yeah, so I'm wishing you guys a beautiful day, beautiful week. Hopefully you guys had an amazing Easter. You guys could save me some chocolate Snickers. You feel me? Love you guys, man. I appreciate you guys listening. Thank you so much for the feedback on Jacob's episode. That was the best episode, man. Can't nobody top that. You feel me? Because it's so crazy to even think that I'm doing an episode with Jacob. You know what I mean? Like, I was your iPhone be doing some, they be doing like this photo memory thing, and like that happened to me a few days ago, where like all these pictures of Jacob when he was a baby and a kid. I'm like, bro, don't make me start getting all emotional right now. You feel me? In public, nah. But it's just so crazy to think that I was doing an episode with my son, and we were having like a conversation. He was so funny, and my barber, everybody was just like, yo, Jacob is hilarious. And I'm like, no, he's a star, man. He's my everything. You know what I mean? And I hope that and I'm so glad that people get to see his personality, because as a dad, you're like, everything he does is funny or great, but it's funny when other people are like, yo, Jacob's hilarious, he's a trip. I'm like, yeah, because I'm a trip. You know what I mean? I'm like, a lot of people are always like, B, well, yeah, look at you. And I'm like, yeah, it's true. I just try to calm down a little bit, but I can't. I love to be my authentic self. Anyways, hang with BJ Podcast. Love y'all, man. Springtime is beautiful weather. Go outside, have a nice walk, enjoy nature, enjoy your loved ones, and praise your mind and praise the Lord, baby. Mental praise, hang with Beat Drop. Y'all take it easy, man. Much love. We outies, man. Peace.